Comcast. Movie chooses Laid by James to kick off the soundtrack, but isn't brave enough to skip to the verse about fighting with kitchen knives, stalking, and playing around with gender roles, which would have been far more on brand.
You're not, getting bored with things, are you?
I am. I am very bored with things. When will the movie care about my feelings and stop?
Maybe you could just, use your napkin.
It's okay, I don't have to use my napkin.
Whether Michelle is a nympho or not, how does one leap to using a napkin for sex things? She doesn't even think about whether or not her face has a bit of something stuck to it.
I've got the ring, so don't panic, son.
I can immediately think of 17 safer places to keep that ring, and I'm not even trying. A theme that will remain consistent throughout this video. Not a single soul notices the man clearly in the throes of a heart attack? Presumably because they know they're in the kinky cold open of an American Pie sequel, and it's best to just sit tight and hope the credits come before Jim does.
Where's Michelle? Washroom? I was so nervous she was gonna spot me.
And yet, Jim's dad will choose to hang around, take a fucking seat, and risk spoiling a proposal that Jim is perfectly capable of spoiling himself.
I wish your mother could be here.
Michelle must be able to hear that Jim's dad has arrived, and yet she continues to pleasure Jim under the table as if parental overwatch is a kink she wants to encourage.
Hey, this is for your own good.
I understand Michelle's vigorous sexcapades are part of her character, but would she need to take the pants all the way down? Anything for a gag, I suppose. How so, Jim? Because I don't think my girlfriend was performing oral sex on me under the table while I had a conversation with my dad about potential nuptials is an excuse that will make it all better. We can't play the song, but believe me when I say there's nothing quite like the Foo Fighters to musically punctuate a marriage with high fidelity. This post-title card, pre-actual movie footage of random people going about their day that does nothing for nobody.
Marriage is a binding, unifying, eternal, never-ending, permanent chaining together of two people.
A $50 billion divorce industry would disagree with that statement.
And finally, I realized, you love the girls, marry her.
This movie essentially says there's no option between feeling love for someone you're dating and jumping straight to marriage. This feels like a duh, I'm hungry, I'll whip up some tonkatsu ramen from scratch before you even have pork bones or flour. I might be hungry. Jim is an idiot, but this one is on the waitress for walking food through the fucking dance floor.
Thought a wedding should be rather entertaining.
You would think. You would be wrong.
Rudy and Sam would like to meet him too. You better bring them in from the car. They've been cooped up for hours.
Why the didn't you bring them in with you then? I thought it was to set up some kind of Jim's dad accidentally kills their dogs thing, but he just brings them in. Not that this movie needs another reason for me to hate its very core.
There's one thing that'll make this wedding perfect. No Stifler.
Premature no stiflebration.
What are you gonna do with that fancy NYU diploma?
I'll frame it.
Well, you should come to law school, man. I could use the company.
And that's all the what have Finch and the other guy been up to since the last movie recap you get. You want to know more about these characters? F you.
Michelle's parents are here. Come on, we're waiting. Oh, crumbs on the shirt.
Okay,
That's bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll change.
Did Jim not know they were coming? Why wait to change until the middle of the party? And crumbs are a reason to change? They're crumbs. You wipe them off. If you drive a school bus, are you allowed to take the school bus home? That shouldn't be how it works. I can't believe that Jim thinks he can salvage these pants, especially when he is in his own home and can just get changed again. But whatever would we do without another Jim gets caught in a ridiculously avoidable sexual situation scene?
Oh!
Voila! The cake has miraculously reinflated itself.
This dog's great! Is it weird that it feels good?
It is, but Stifler enjoying this is not surprising, and I hate that. Animals were absolutely harmed in the making of this movie. This cat lamp is not available to purchase online.
They think you're an angel. And I'm just some ungrateful dog.
In theory, it should be weird that Michelle being an angel is the least plausible of those two things. All of the adults in the house allowed the person who assaulted the dog to remain in the house near the dog.
I do not deserve a girl this cool.
That was firmly established when you tried to trick Nadia into masturbating on the internet without consent. A point I will be bringing up every time we send one of these celluloid stains on movie history.
Well, I promised her wedding. The wedding of her dreams.
Okay, what's the problem?
Dancing.
Dancing? Fucking dancing is the problem? Not money, not making commitments this huge at 21, not having 2 months to pull off a wedding. Thus begins Jim's entire character arc for this movie. Jim can't dance, Jim learns to dance, Jim can dance. Circling the middle of the water as a possible place for a bachelor party and then not following through on that brilliant idea which would lead to the cast of characters drowning and no future movies existing. This scene is about Jim asking if he can talk to Michelle's parents. Not right now, but later. It might truly be the peak of American cinema.
No, these aren't gonna work.
The ballet CD at the rack in a sports store isn't going to work for what? Teaching Jim to dance? Well, of course not.
You're not invited! cold!
Why did Jim feel the need to go to Stifler's place of work, which happens to be a school, by the way, to embarrassingly uninvite him from the wedding?
I'm sorry. The answer's no. This.
Stifler secures an invite to the wedding in exchange for dance lessons, and somehow Jim thinks this is a solid exchange. Why does Jim think that Stifler is his only option? Can we at least pretend to rule out some of the less sabotagey options?
Just try not to be, you.
This shit, it's not worth it.
Stifler's entire motivation for going to the wedding is so that he can
Boom boom with the bridesmaids, Finch f***er.
and he's willing to give up on that because Jim calls him rude? Can't believe I'm campaigning for Stifler to be more of a pervert.
What if you planned the bachelor party with a dildo show?
Stifler seems very excited about the dildo show, but we never see it.
No pussy, no dancing.
Is a plot point in this film.
Michelle wants a dress that she can't get. The dress she wants is Amsale. They have a store in Chicago. It's a 3-hour drive.
Michelle and her parents are unwilling to make a 3-hour drive for her perfect wedding dress. Dicks.
3-hour drive? Kick fucking ass.
Stifler's absence up until this point suggests that he either turned up at the perfect time to join in, or he was waiting somewhere in the bar observing the conversation for his cue.
What's the capital of Thailand? Bangkok!
Despite no one wanting him on this road trip, no one prevents Stifler from joining them. At least in the last movie, we had the excuse of the beach house belonging to his family. This time, the script just gives up and assumes it's fine that the characters have as well. Also, in the last scene, we established that Stifler could only come to the wedding if he taught Jim to dance. And he'd only teach Jim to dance if Jim could guarantee him sex with a bridesmaid, a thing Jim refused to do. So what changed since that scene? Why is Stifler back on board before banking a bona fide bridesmaid boning?
I'm afraid Leslie has gone for the day.
There is then, presumably, a brief exchange where this dress shop woman gives the guys general information about where Leslie likes to hang out without ever saying the pronoun he. Also, the dude where's my Leslie portion of the film is bafflingly pointless. Instead of just waiting until tomorrow when Leslie is back at their job, Jim thinks the best plan is to track Leslie down in his off hours and ask for a wedding dress. I might buy it if there was some kind of urgency, but we've seen nothing of the sort. Nothing would have changed if they just came back tomorrow like regular human beings. I'm not sure why this DJ is tweaking the nipple of this record player instead of tweaking one of the many deck nipples available to him that would actually do something. Somehow, Stifler convinces the DJ to play his song, the lighting guy to follow his lead, and the dance floor to clear, despite having just insulted the entire room moments earlier. Also, dance-off scene does not contain anything that could be objectively described as dancing.
When you get your bachelor party together, I manage some girls in town. Real ones.
Real ones.
Thanks for helping out.
There's no real reason for you to be here while I pick up my beautiful sister from the airport, but it sure will kickstart the love triangle that will carry the second and third acts. And by carry, I mean being dragged along a bed of nails with a distinct lack of care. Touching the bathroom wall with your bare hands as if microscopic bits of feces haven't been shot out of the toilet in all directions. Then pressing your finger to your lip.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge.
Lifting lyrics directly from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and having it be a net gain in quality for your screenwriting.
You don't think it's too sexy, do you?
It is shocking how little editing this movie would need to be a straight horror film. Also, how convenient that the ladies chose some kind of living room to strip down and try on clothes instead of a bedroom, bathroom, or not at all.
Well, I'm Cadence, Michelle's sister.
I had no idea. I'm their good friend Steven.
Stifler is pretending to be a stand-up guy to get with Cadence, but I have no clue why he thinks Jim, Michelle, or Finch will allow this ruse to continue. He seems pretty confident that none of them will pre-warn Cadence about how much of a womanizing jerk he is. And bonus sins for all the aforementioned morons because they never do.
You look very familiar, Steven.
Somehow Michelle's mom doesn't have the memory of the man who enjoyed some cake-based fellatio at the expense of her dog burned into her memory, cake face or not. Also, this would be the perfect time to expose Finch as the asshole who mouth-sexed her dog and ruin any chances of him getting together with Cadence, the woman Finch is also pursuing.
Michelle's grandmother's, my mother's wedding ring. But since all of you are the best man, I don't know who should hold on to it.
Wait, why is she including Stifler in that? Kevin said that Jim hadn't decided between him and Finch. She has no clue who Stifler is to Jim other than friend. Also, it's at this point I really realize that this is actually a Stifler spinoff wearing an American Pie strap-on.
Jim, he's not doing it to be nice. He's doing it to bone Cadence.
Then stop him, Michelle. You have the power.
This is the waltz.
It is not.
Should I shave my balls? Do you shave your balls? How do you do it?
Speaking of, this movie is the personification of shaving your balls with a spoon dipped in hot sauce at a funeral.
Whatever. I'm walking anywhere.
Wait, actually, I think I'm gonna go stretch my legs with a Finchmeister.
So I guess the lesson here is that Stifler should have actually stayed true to himself because being an asshole is more attractive than being a nerd. So glad this movie exists to remind us nerds of that fact.
He's not here.
If Jim isn't home, how are you getting into the house? The scene does contain a lap dance.
What?
The pink too much?
It puts the dress in the drawer and it does as it's told.
Ah, yes, that famous Silence of the Lambs remake where Buffalo Bill was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Do you want to see us kiss?
Fuck no.
Oh, no.
Now that you go, we go bullshit.
That's actually a pretty funny callback, until you realize that these ladies are actually being paid to do this, compared to those other girls who you were spying on when you got caught. The odds of being blackmailed into reciprocity are much lower here.
You have a serving dish ready?
So, I guess they're just eating turkey? I mean, that seems to be all that Jim's prepared, unless he's planning on serving these raw vegetables. A naked Finch hands Jim a serving tray and then reaches out to close the door. We know that Michelle's dad is right about here off screen, meaning he 100% would have been able to see that he needs to get his wife and daughter as far away from this family as possible.
Brandy, what are you doing? You're not in Eastern Europe anymore. You can't do that.
The most American thing about the American Pie franchise is an embedded foreign policy of blame it on Eastern Europe. Doing this in front of your wife. You do this in secret, like the bad little boy you are. Sit in a deep, dark shame that haunts your every waking hour.
All right, forget it.
Stifler, who left earlier, has somehow returned to the living room where Mario was chatting with Bear and managed to sneak back behind a curtain. Why? No f***ing reason, that's why.
I just wanted to make Jim look good for you guys. So we hired a fake cop and we tied up Kevin and put him in the closet. Jim was supposed to rescue him.
None of that explains why the fake cop is dressed like a stripper cop. And why would Kevin have been kidnapped in Jim's home? And how do you explain the stripper cleaner in this scenario? This fake plan is not holding up. And where's the dildo show? Also, simply saying we're planning a bachelor party for Jim sounds 1,000% less stupid and is actually understandable.
I'm sure you both learned your lesson, and I suppose I understand.
She supposes she understands? After the stripper forced a motorboating upon her person?
If you put half as much energy into your marriage as you put into tonight, I'm confident that I can give you my blessing.
Fucking what now? Of all the this works of this movie, this may be the most egregious.
I think I know who should hold on to this.
What is that? That doesn't look at all like the ring she was going on about earlier. That looks like Michelle's actual engagement ring.
Is there any room for me?
There are a couple of pieces of luggage in the front seat that could be moved elsewhere. There is so much room in this car for an extra person. Why does every plot point have to be so forced and stupid?
I thought you could persuade Mr. Finch to share his room.
Why would the man at the reception desk pull Finch's name out of the list of people attending the wedding? It's almost like the movie knows it's a movie and wants to build more tension between the motherfucker and the grandmotherfucker-to-be.
And European pumpkin peel facial for me, please.
Ooh, make that too.
It's up to me to remind you that this scene started with Stifler having no room to stay in, and that issue hasn't been resolved before we're headed off for pumpkin facials. I want to see the scene where Kevin denies him and he has to call his mom to help out, which is the only reason it makes sense for her to show up at the wedding. Gift baskets that come with shavers? What the f***?
You got bigger.
You got lucky. Trimming the delicate skin without proper guards is lunacy. Why, oh why, is the window ever an option for this? What is wrong with throwing them in the trash or down the toilet with the rest of your dignity? Also, it's wild that in all the times the lawn was mowed or the wind blew in some pollen, this fan system wasn't replaced and updated to guard the kitchen from contamination.
Boy, pubic hair was just not an issue when I was dating.
Why did he have to admit to this being pubes? Couldn't he have said he shaved his chest or a passing skunk or literally anything that's less embarrassing?
You fed the ring to the dogs, didn't you?
Regardless of how ridiculous it is that Finch deduced this fact, why is he holding this over Stifler instead of immediately exposing him to Cadence and her parents?
I have some to attend to.
And then he gets dog doesn't run off discreetly to examine it, or grab a stick to fish out the super shiny ring he can clearly see. No, he must scoop an entire poop and take it to the group of people for the shenanigans about eating
What you have in your hand there?
It's chocolate truffle.
Somewhere, right now, there's a version of Nicolas Cage sleeping in the woods who is absolutely furious that these people can't tell the difference between truffled chocolates and a lump of dog shit. I may have, during the course of my storied career, uttered the words, Stifler can eat shit, but never once did I expect the American Pie franchise to take that as a challenge. Also, literally any option is better than this. Run away with no explanation. Drop the truffle on the floor and accidentally step on it. Fake a coronary episode. Anything that does not involve chewing a poo. You never go full eat turd.
Grandma, I want you to meet some people.
Why the f*** is he introducing Kevin to his grandma at the same time as Michelle? Honestly, this isn't the first time I've wondered what the f*** Kevin is doing in a scene. He serves no function in this movie. I honestly think they wrote this movie and totally forgot that they'd asked Thomas Ian Nicholas to come back. And then when he did, they felt bad and just put him in a few scenes and told him to say stuff when needed.
Not Jewish. No wedding, Jimmy. No wedding.
I feel like this is something Jim could have seen coming. An elder relative's generational racism isn't something that usually presents out of the blue.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Michelle's reaction here and the editing make it look like Jim's grandma is about to reach for a gun or something, but she doesn't. Just for the best, but it's still a confusing edit.
Don't worry, I'll come up with something.
Something that will make her more Jewish in the next 24 hours? Okay, so this is clearly the Friends of Jim table. So who the f*** is this and why are they immediately more interesting than Calvin?
I just wanted to let you know that you make me feel special.
Special like a turd you pretend is a chocolate truffle? That kind of special? I ask because we haven't been shown a single second of this special treatment.
Maybe you'd want to make things extra special tonight.
Which room is yours?
I'm crashing at Kevin's.
Based on everything we've seen so far, I see two possible outcomes. Kevin just folds and agrees to sleep in Finch's room, or Stifler murders him and hides the body. Either way, I don't see a reality where sharing a room with Kevin prevents Stifler from getting some action.
It's gonna be like, you like this mama? And she's gonna be like, f***ing right, doggy, give it to me.
They're right behind me, aren't they, cliche?
Cadence, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to the real Steve Stifler.
A person you could have introduced her to immediately, Paul.
Between Grandma and Stifler and Cadence. The cake. I keep messing up.
You know, it is weird that he keeps making terrible decisions, such as allowing Stifler to the wedding and pube dusting his own wedding cake, all things that appear to be completely avoidable. He should have figured out that his life is being written by Emma Thompson years ago.
Stifler was in here earlier flipping switches.
And Finch watched him do that and left without alerting anyone to the changes he made, making him just as responsible and equally deserving of being kicked out of the wedding. After a day, the two lovebirds walk around the property and discuss the pros and cons of sending everyone home and opting out of marriage because it's far too soon to get married. They both want to grow up a little more before committing to someone long term. Or at least, I think that's what happens. The movie decides that we don't need to hear from them at all and offers no additional character growth, despite the film being about their wedding, supposedly.
I had 4 assistants working 2 full days on that wedding. It's impossible.
We don't quit at halftime, ma'am. You don't score until you score.
This works. Stifler has somehow managed to call an entire football team and convince them to work all hours of the night for a florist, indicating all men on the team are gullible buffoons who will do as they are told if the coach screams at them. And I am offended on behalf of larger athletic men everywhere. Also, who paid for the flowers? I doubt this florist had an in case of dickhead second batch is free clause.
I still can't get my vows right.
Oh, the movie remembered it was about Jim and Michelle's relationship all of a sudden. Unfortunately, it comes so far into the movie that it has been eclipsed by dog shit and stripper, so anything at this point is just a skip to end this abomination.
The reason things always work out is because you guys have always been there to back me up.
If by back you up you mean are the people who end up getting you into these ridiculous situations, then yes, they are absolutely there backing you up into the next disaster.
But we can't be boning from sunrise to sunset there.
Well, now with that attitude, you can't.
Focus! Focus! Focus!
Ouch!
So Stifler is accidentally doing something with Jim's grandma. But think about how he got here. John and Justin are left in charge of Jim's grandma and coincidentally decide to ditch her in the exact linen closet where Stifler has agreed to meet Caden. So did they ditch her wheelchair? Why was she completely silent on being undressed? Why did she assume Stifler was Jewish? Michelle appears to be walking down the aisle to a lulling song that says, "Feeling tired by the fire, the long day is over." And any song would have been more appropriate than this snoozer.
Jim.
Weddings. Despite exchanging rings during the ceremony, the ring that Stifler handed Jim seconds ago has still not made it to her finger. Somehow. The ring has now appeared, but her other ring is now gone. Nothing is sacred.
Hey, tough guy.
Who the invited Stifler's mom?
My MILF.
MILF.
Sneaking your post-credits scene in before the credits have even rolled in an attempt to subvert those MCU nerds who aren't making movies yet. Taking an all-too-literal approach to diving. As the credits roll, here's a reminder that Jim's mom still doesn't have a name. I guess there's always a chance in the next movie, right?
Of course he's screwed. He's getting married.
Hello?
I don't have any money, but what I do have are a very specific set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for somebody like you.
I need assurances that I'm gonna get some quality action at this wedding.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Well, I could really use some rest. Where should I stay?
Oh, you should probably stay right here, right? Probably good to have somebody watching over you in case you got a concussion or something.
I don't have a concussion.
That's what people always say when they got a little concussion brewing.
I definitely don't have one.
Oh, they call me Little John. Hey, but don't let my name fool you. In real life, I'm very big.
So can I see the ring?
Nope. Promise to keep it safe. It's not leaving my pocket.
We must get the precious. We must get it back.
The ladies, never complained when they were, down in that general area.
Holy fuck, that is a shit ton of exposition for a threequel.
Oh! Steven, that is so selfish.
Good soup.
And that's what she is, the queen of refuse. So bow down to her if you want.
I still can't get my vows right. Ugh.
Every time you feel like saying the F word, just go ahead and say it, and then add crying out loud. Crying out loud. Crying out loud.